In modern calligraphy, the spotlight is usually on the letters. Numerals and numbers are the neglected cousin. But it's so crucial because you'll definitely need numbers for your greeting card. Say, if you're saying happy 40th birthday. Also, if you're doing envelope addressing, you will definitely need numbers. In fact, I have a video on different styles of using shapes and modern calligraphy to do envelope addressing. Now, how do you vary your style when doing numerals in modern calligraphy? This video will show you how to create infinite styles of doing numerals from looking at just 2 components. The first component is your entrance and exit strokes. These are great opportunities for you to experiment your letter forms and add extensions to your numbers to create your own style of flourishing. The entrance stroke is something that leads into the formation of a number. On the other hand, the exit stroke leads to the end of the formation of that number. Adding embellishments and extensions like loops or exaggerating the size of the entrance and exit strokes will help you to vary the style of the numbers. The second component to look at is the stem of the numeral. You can add a curve to a straight stem, and that will already dramatically change the look of your numbers. Let's see how we can apply just these 2 components to achieve infinite styling in our modern calligraphy numbers. I'll be running through 0 to 9 consecutively. For each number, I will do 3 different styles. At the end of this video, just looking at these 2 components will empower you to make your own variations. Are you ready? Let's start with the number 0. Instead of doing a curl, we can do an extension. Here, we intersect the entrance stroke and finish off to the right of the oval. We can add the curl to the exit stroke instead. Start with the entrance stroke as normal, but instead of closing the loop, you turn the stroke inwards and finish off with a curl. Break up the oval loop. Let's look at the entrance stroke. Here we're adding a curl to our entrance stroke. Because there is a curl, we can't close the loop, but the 0 is still legible as the exit stroke points towards the start of the entrance stroke. Easy, right? 3 styles with just varying the entrance and exit strokes. If you found this video helpful, do like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Next, let's look at the numeral 1. The number 1 has a stem, so we'll start with that. When you curve the stem of 1, you can already see such a huge difference in the style. You can go a little bit further. Let's add a curl to the top of the stem for a bit more personality. What if I want to flourish the bottom? I'm adding a curl that faces out for the top, but for the bottom line, I'm adding a loop. Now, if this number appears in an address, it can be read in context as the number 1, but you just want to be careful that it's not read as the letter L. A reminder that as beautiful as you want to make your numerals, legibility counts. Let's do the number 2. We can add a curl to the entrance stroke of 2, a loop at the bottom, and end off with a curl at the exit stroke. Or we can do a looser loop at the entrance stroke and a closed loop for the exit stroke. One more example. You can exaggerate the shape of 2. Here I'm making a big bowl for the number 2 and contrasting it with a very short and plain base. On to number 3. We can add a slight curl at the top and add a spiral curl as we end off the stroke. Instead of a line, the top of the number 3 can be a curve, and we finish the exit stroke to the right of the number. Here is a tight loop at the entrance stroke and more loops inside the bottom half of the number 3. Let's go on to number 4. 4 is made up of several lines, so we can curl these lines. I start with a curl facing the left and a loop to join the stem. I can vary the curl and form a sharp edge at the entrance stroke of the number. You can also add a curl at the top of the stem. Halfway now, we are at number 5. 5 is made up of a line and several curves. We can vary the bar at the top of the number and finish off the exit stroke to the right. We can make the exit stroke even more ornate with a flourish, and then ending it off to the right. Or we can turn the embellishment down a little bit and just form a loop. How about the number 6? We can end off with a spiral and not close the oval for the number 6. Or we can elongate and stretch the number 6 and make it more condensed. Or we can be whimsical and make a teeny tiny loop at the start of number 6. Now for 7. We can add a curl to the entrance stroke of 7 and exaggerate the curve of the diagonal line. Then we can make the bar even more ornate with several loops and intersecting it with another curved line. Or you can exaggerate the curve and have an open curve at the start of 7 instead. Now let's do 8. Let's open up the loops. We started with a curl and end off without closing the loop. Or we can intersect the curves at the top. Or we can divide 8 into 2 separate spirals. Last but not least, the number 9. 9 is made up of an oval and a stem. So immediately, we know we can curve the stem. Here we have a spiral at the entrance stroke of the oval. We can exaggerate the oval and not close the loop. We can form a little loop and then end off with the exit stroke. These are just some of the endless variations that you can create with your numerals by just looking at two different components. How do I vary the entrance or exit strokes? And how do I vary the stem? You can create something complex from just making simple tweaks drawn from base principles. I teach you how you can create an endless variety of cards and envelopes using shapes and modern calligraphy using the same base principles. Whether you're creating cards for family and friends for the holiday season, or you're a seller of cards using modern calligraphy, you'll find the course useful to help you create infinite designs quickly. If you love such tutorials, hit like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to let me know. Counting down 3, 2, 1. Signing off.